Hey everyone! I hope everyone's having a great start to their week. I wanted to share another activity with you all again. This activity is called Cornstarch Ooze. So, disclaimer, this activity is pretty messy, so if you can, I suggest you try it outside with your children to avoid that mess inside the home. This activity allows your children to observe changes from properties such as liquid to solids, and you can talk about those changes, so it builds on those scientific inquiry skills and our cognitive abilities. So the materials you will need for this activity are 1 cup of cornstarch, a half a cup of water, a mixing bowl, a spoon, and a tray or pan. To get started, help your child measure the cornstarch into the bowl. So this is 1 cup of cornstarch to start with, and disclaimer, this is where the mess starts. After measuring the 1 cup into the bowl and helping your child dump that into the bowl, you are then going to slowly add the half a cup of water. So you're going to have your child add a little bit at a time and let your child stir, add a little more, and then stir again. Talk about what is happening to the cornstarch as your child is stirring. So as your child continues to stir and the cornstarch and water gets activated, the cornstarch and water begins to get a little bit more thick and it can be a little harder to stir, so your child might need some help in this step. So as you're stirring the cornstarch and water together, this is actually a great opportunity, and your child is going to start seeing observations with the properties. So although the cornstarch and water looks like physically it's a liquid, it's actually starting to turn into a solid on the bottom. So it's a great time for you guys to talk about the observational changes he or she is noticing. When the ooze is about as thick as yogurt or that consistency, help your child pour it into a pan or on top of a mat, like a silicone mat, or I even left it inside the mixing bowl to touch, and you can stretch it, pour it, just have fun playing with it and allow your child to really dig their hands into it and explore with that sensory opportunity. Encourage your child to talk about the experiment. How did the materials change? So looking at that liquid to solid change and those unusual properties and how it's a little bit different. What does the ooze look like? So having your child extend that language piece and talk about the different observations he or she is noticing. How does it feel? You can even incorporate sequencing of steps. So ask your child to tell you how he or she made the ooze and what she did with it. Write her thoughts down and read them back to her. So even talking about the different steps they took to make the ooze. If your child wants to save the ooze, you can store it in a Ziploc bag for about a few days. So this activity is great for cognitive development. Children need opportunities to explore and encouragement to make observations. Cornstarch ooze acts like a liquid but feels like a solid. These unusual properties stimulate the senses and inspire comparisons. Young children enjoy watching change. Cornstarch and water transform into a substance very unlike either ingredient. Squeezing and touching a variety of textures helps children develop their sense of touch. These experiences help their brains organize sensory information. Other areas of development this activity is great for is language. When you record your children's observations, he or she is gaining a sense that symbols and words have meaning. Social emotional. Sensory experiences lend themselves to talking about how something feels, which helps children begin to understand and express their own emotions. And finally, motor. Pouring and mixing help children develop the large muscles in their arms as well as small muscles in their wrists. So before we close out, a fun, awesome tip. Even though this is really messy, if you just take a little bit of water and you pour it over top of your children's hands, it's a very easy cleanup. The cornstarch water substance cleans right off with water. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun little activity, and I look forward to making another video next week. Bye guys!